Fantrax Fantasy Football starts of the week for week one to smash those projections. Tua draws the Chargers. Justin Herbert threw the ball 699 times last season. There's a good chance Tua is going to have to match him through the air. Number 3 in QBR, number 1 in yards per attempt, number 1 in deep ball completion percentage last season. His upside was in the percentage of games played with 3+ passing touchdowns and 300+ passing yards. Top 10 quarterback last season. He has the yards after catch monsters of Tyreek Hill and hopefully Jalen Waddle. That gives him a safer floor. Geno Smith plays the Rams. Last season in his 2 matchups against the Rams, he was the quarterback 3 and the quarterback 12 for fantasy football. He tossed 3 touchdowns in their first matchup last year. Top 10 in passing attempts, passing yards, passing touchdowns, QBR, and fantasy points per game last season. Seattle added a stud in Jackson Smith and Jigba, who should suit up this week. Also pass-catching running back Zach Charbonnet on top of 2022 1,000-yard receivers DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett. Aaron Jones gets the Chicago Bears. Last season, he had career highs in receptions with 59 and rushing yards with 1,121. It's like nobody cares. A.J. Dillon does exist, but last year, this guy had over 270 total touches, so I'm not super concerned. Here's the thing now. Christian Watson and Romeo Doubs missed practice on Wednesday. I bet this means plenty of plays where Jordan Love is finding the easy passing outlet in Aaron Jones in this matchup. Go Bears. J.K. Dobbins draws Houston. Houston did draft defensive stud Will Anderson at pick 3 this year, but this defense gave up 220 more total rushing yards than any team in the NFL last season. They were the most rush-friendly matchup. Dobbins has averaged 5.7 and 6 yards per carry in the 2 seasons he played. He showed us flashes last season while recovering from that ACL with 2 games of 120-plus rushing yards. Rookie year in 2020, he scored in every one of his final 6 games for the Ravens. I think the Ravens are going to beat up the Texans this weekend, giving him plenty of rushes on the ground, and I think he finds the end zone. Chris Olave draws the Tennessee Titans, and I know it's a new year, but it's important to note that Tennessee gave up the most passing yards per game last year. Olave last season was number 4 in deep targets and number 9 in the average depth of his target. If we look at Derek Carr last year with the Raiders, who's the new quarterback, he was number 5 in both air yards and deep ball attempts. Those stats go hand in hand, just like Carr and Olave will this season. Mike Williams draws the Dolphins. Williams was a top 15 wide receiver for fantasy in 6 of his 11 games played last year when he played 50% plus of the snaps. Miami was a solid wide receiver matchup last season, and people forget Mike Williams averaged 15.4 fantasy points per game back in 2021. Herbert's high passing volume makes Mike Williams a great play in what should be a battle. Jahan Dotson plays the Cardinals this week. I love the talent. He had a high volume profile coming out of Penn State, drew first-round draft capital for Washington. I've been an absolute sucker for all of the Howell to Jahan Dotson camp and preseason clips. These two, in both practice and in a game setting, have looked well connected. McLaurin is back at practice, but I'm not sure he's 100% right now. Arizona is a weak matchup, which gives Howell and Dotson a chance to put that connection on full display. Dotson showed us some solid touchdown upside as a rookie last season, scoring in 7 of his 12 games. Elijah Moore plays the Bengals. Cleveland is going to be a career turnaround for Elijah Moore. Reports through the offseason have said that Cleveland wants to open up the passing game in their first full season with Deshaun Watson, who has had 2 seasons of 4,000-plus passing yards. The wide receiver 2 role behind Amari Cooper in a Cincinnati matchup that is going to feature Burrow, Chase, and Higgins is appealing to me. Cortland Sutton draws the Raiders. The Raiders gave up the 4th most passing yards per game last season. Think Jerry Jeudy's going to miss this week. Sutton opened up 2022 with 3 top 20 wide receiver finishes for fantasy football across his first 4 games. I think this new Sean Payton-led offense is going to take a step forward from what they did last year. Then finally, we have Tyler Higbee against the Seahawks. He had career highs in targets with 108 and receptions with 72 last season. Cooper Kupp is going to miss this week. Many are pointing to which wide receiver is going to be the next man up with Cooper Kupp out of the mix. How about just the tight end that was the number one target for the Rams last season, getting plenty of passing volume in week 1?